Hello folks, we're back again. Nigel's going to give us a little talk about pests and diseases on his apples, and he's got a few things down here what we're going to talk about, so I'm going to put you over to him and away we go. Okay now, oh, and hang on, we've just spotted that a bird's been mucking on Nigel's shirt, so
Oh dear.
never mind. Right, over to you, Nigel.
Okay, the two pests I want to talk about are codling moth and sawfly, and both of these pests damage apples quite severely so that they fall prematurely and they go rotten. And if we have a look at an apple where there is either a sawfly or codling moth damage, you can see holes here. Now, until recent years, the main pest of apples that did that was codling moth, and this is a moth which the grubs actually eat the pips at the centre of the apple, and slowly the apple starts to rot.
Okay.
And this can be controlled quite well by a hormone trap. And if you buy a hormone trap which contains a small amount of the female moth's hormone, what it does, it attracts the males into the trap and they stick into this sticky gunge which is in there.
And these are those triangular houses, green ones, what you put in your tree, aren't they?
That's right, yeah. And they can be very, very successful, and we've used them every year for about 25 years here. And the population of codling moths now has plummeted. There's hardly any that we trap each year. You can actually count them by just seeing how many of the moths are stuck in the gunge inside the trap.
And the thing we should say about these traps, you don't need one for every tree because they cover a certain area, don't they?
Oh, that's right, yeah. If you have an average sized garden, you probably only need one trap. If it's a very large garden, perhaps you'd have two.
Yeah, okay.
But that's all you need. So they are very effective. But there is a second pest which has recently become a bit troublesome, and last year we thought it was codling moth because the damage essentially looks exactly the same. But there is a small difference. Now if you look at this, can you see something that's not present on the other apple? Look at this scar.
Scar, yeah.
Now that's the giveaway that there are sawflies around. I don't know why that they leave a scar like that, and not every apple with a sawfly in it has a scar, but if you've got significant apple damage and a few of them have got scars on, it's likely that most of the damage is from sawfly.
Okay, could that be from a chemical that they're releasing through the body, or could it be that they're actually eating the surface of the apple?
I think it could be either.
Yeah.
But there's very, very little written about apple sawfly because it's a relatively recent pest. Apparently it's come from Northern Europe, and it would be great if there was a hormone trap for it, but at the moment there isn't.
Okay.
It is being worked on apparently, because I talked to a chappie who was involved with that a few days ago at the Malvern show. But at the moment, apple sawfly is a big nuisance. And the sort of damage that you see, the apples rot just like they do with codling moth, but much faster. Often they rot on the tree, or in storage when you've picked them. After a few days, you get apples looking like this. This remarkable pattern of concentric rings. Now, I don't know if every time an apple does that it has sawfly, but I know in most of ours that have done this, sawfly is responsible. Because when I looked in the codling moth trap this year, we haven't caught any. Okay. So it's got to be sawfly that's done this.
Now, this looks very much like brown rot.
It is brown rot, yes, and it's triggered by the grubs of the sawfly, again, eating the pips, excreting various nasty substances, and then this causes bacteria to start attacking the apple and making it rot.
Okay.
And you can go from an apple in good condition to one which is almost entirely consumed in about 2 days.
Yeah.
Codling moth damage typically works more slowly.
Slowly, yeah.
And you can see this is a codling moth affected apple where the brown rot is spreading slowly through the fruit.
Yeah.
And we are not getting these rings of decay.
Okay. Now that brown rot, that affected our plum tree at home. And then, in fact,
Yeah.
I think we lost 4/5 of the plums on the tree.
Yeah, there are lots of
And it did, like
yeah.
you said, it was fine one day, and then when we checked 2 days later, they were all looking like that, and you know.
Yes, yeah, there are lots of insects which can cause brown rot and lots of bacteria that can cause it too.
Yeah, yeah.
The only control that I found with brown rot, last year, I'm sorry, not brown rot, with sawfly, last year we lost 90% of our crop, of our apple crop, because of this, and so we thought we've got to do something. So we looked on the internet, and the only treatment we could find was, number one, sticky white cards which attract the insects as they're looking around for somewhere to lay their eggs. So you put these sticky white cards up during blossom time or just before, and leave them up for about a fortnight afterwards. We tried that, but we didn't catch a single sawfly. And the second thing that we found was that when the sawfly lays its eggs during the blossom period, the insects gradually hatch over about a fortnight. Now, if you spray those the blossom at blossom fall after the bees have done their job, if you spray the plant, the unhatched eggs are not affected by the poison, but the little insects, as they hatch out, are. So what you have to do is to spray 4 or 5 times at about 3-day intervals.
Yeah.
And then after about a fortnight, the whole lot has hatched, and since you've hit it several times, then hopefully you've got rid of most of them.
Yeah.
So this is what we did. We don't like using chemical poisons, but 90% loss of the crop, we didn't have any choice.
No.
And this year we've only lost about 20%, so it seems to have worked. But it's worth keeping your lookout for a less toxic way of getting rid of sawfly. Keep looking on the internet, and as soon as something comes through, I'm sure it will be widely reported.
Okay. Right, thanks for that information, Nigel.